worse for me. I'm like a drunk mess crying about my ex-boyfriend to him. I was like, Lois. In that moment, I knew I fucked up. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lo, and this week's video is a Fella Friday video. So setup is a little bit different. I'm filming like for the first time at night in my new studio, so let me know what you guys think, if it looks okay. But I'm kind of digging it. Fella Friday after dark. So Fella Friday is a series on my channel where I talk about a different kind of boy or fella each Friday that I've encountered in my dating life. So let's jump right into it. The story is called Wie Drunk Mistake, or this guy. Although I wouldn't call him a mistake. If you see this, I'm sorry, but I had to think of a clickbaity title. So let's get started. So this story is from, God, September 2016. So like literally the beginning of my college undergraduate career, not career, but like life. So I just moved to Amsterdam to start medical school, and in the Netherlands we have like introduction week. In the UK it's kind of the same as like freshers week. So I was nearing the end of introduction week. I actually had 2 introduction weeks because I had a med school one and like a University of Amsterdam one, and it's basically 2 weeks of just like partying, drinking, going crazy. So you can imagine at the end of the 2 weeks you're like pretty dead. But the last party is like the biggest party. So for the University of Amsterdam, they have it at like 3 major clubs, at Sugar Factory, Melkweg, and Paradiso. And also like sororities and fraternities have their own parties as well. So end of the like week, I hadn't really met that many people in introduction weeks that like I was gonna go to these parties with yet, but my friend Robin, I don't think she'll mind me naming her, and who had also just moved to Amsterdam, we were like, oh, let's go to a party together. So her brother was part of a fraternity, so we kind of knew that fraternity, and we were like, oh, let's go there first for drinks, and then we'll go to like Sugar Factory or Paradiso or whatever. So we go to this fraternity, and we like are having a good time. She knows quite a few people. She's like introducing me to a few people, and we're just having fun. And obviously in the beginning they're very much like trying to get people to join. Almost all fraternity sororities are co-ed, so this was a co-ed one, so they're like trying to get us to join, giving us drinks, stuff like that. And we're having a good time, drinking a lot, or at least I was. And I start talking to this guy, let's call him Ricky. So me and Ricky like hit it off, and he's friends with her older brother, so you know, she kind of introduced us, and we're definitely having a good time and just like talking, getting to know each other. And suddenly I notice that I have this necklace that is like really sentimental to me. My ex-boyfriend gave it to me, long story, but it just, at the time, me and him were still kind of in a weird spot, so at the time it like still really meant a lot to me, and I was wearing it, and I suddenly noticed that this necklace was gone. So I'm drunk. I'm like drunk out of my mind. So I immediately start crying, like bawling my eyes out. This guy must have been like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, oh my god, like my ex-boyfriend gave me this necklace, and I'm just like crying and crying. And he's like, well, we can look for it, or like tomorrow I can look for it. And like in between that like fraternity and this, I'd also gone to like Sugar Factory. We'd gone to like a couple of the clubs, so I was like, oh my god, I'm never gonna find this necklace back because it probably snapped off somewhere. So I'm like crying and crying, and he's like, are you okay? Like, can I do something for you? We'd already like kissed at this point, so he must have been like, what the hell is happening to this girl? But I was just drunk and emotional and tired because I'd had no sleep for 2 weeks, so I was just done. So it was like 3 AM at this point, I think, and I was like, I'm just gonna go home. Like I'm gonna like post on Facebook, try to find this necklace, and like I'll maybe come back to like tomorrow to look for it on the street or something. And he's like, no, like I'm coming back tomorrow to the fraternity to clean. I will look for it. I will take care of it. We like exchanged numbers. We kissed once more, and I was like, wow, this guy's like such a gentleman. So the night gets even worse for me because I am biking home. I literally had moved to Amsterdam like maybe a month before this, and like I was not used to biking in Amsterdam. If you've ever been in Amsterdam, biking there is crazy. And I had to like cross over a tram rail, and it's raining at this point, so I'm crying. It's raining, I'm drunk, I'm tired, I'm biking home, and I have to cross this tram rail just feeling miserable for myself. And my bike like wheel gets caught in the tram rail, and I suddenly just like floop over, and I'm just laying there. I'm literally just laying on like an intersection. I don't even know, it wasn't busy because it was the middle of the night, but I was just like, no, like there were people biking by, like nobody stopped, and I was just laying there in the rain feeling so miserable for myself. I was like, what? Like this necklace, my ex, like Amsterdam is like not treating me well. So I get home, go to bed, like sleep it off, wake up with the biggest hangover ever, and the next morning I have a text from Ricky. So I'm like, oh, that's really nice. And he's like, yeah, I'm on my way to the fraternity house, like, I'm gonna like look for it, but no promises. He was like, oh, I would post on Facebook and some of the like party groups if I was you, or like party events for the end of the week events. So I did that, obviously on Facebook I didn't find anything, and suddenly I get like a picture of this guy holding the fucking locket saying like, I found it while cleaning. So I was like, this is the sweetest guy ever. I'm like a drunk mess crying about my ex-boyfriend to him, and he's like going out the next day to search for this necklace. Like, it was so sweet. I honestly felt so appreciated. So I was like, oh my god, you're the best, and like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so he was like, yeah, we're having another party on Wednesday, I'll be there, you should come and like pick it up. So me and Robin decided to go again on Wednesday, and we were like, I was like, I'm not drinking, like, oh, these 2 weeks have been crazy, I just started med school, like, I don't have time for this, I'm just gonna go like pick it up. But obviously we get there and he's like, yeah, like, oh, here you go. He's being super sweet, but he's like, well, you have to stay for a drink now, it's the least you can do. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine, I'll stay for a drink. And I think Robin had the good sense, she like went home. So I just stayed here with that guy, like I didn't really know anyone else, but we're just like chatting. He introduced me to some of his friends, and I was like, oh, he's a really nice guy. They all were like trying to get me to join the fraternity sorority, and I was like, no, because I didn't want to join in my first year. I actually never ended up joining that fraternity sorority anyway, but like in that moment I was like, no, I can't join right now, even though I was having a really good time. But again, I'm getting like free drinks, like a lot of beer, like, so I'm just drinking, and suddenly the night gets later, and I'm like, dude, like I really have to go. And I'm also like telling him like, oh my god, I'm totally gonna lose this necklace again if like I keep drinking. And he's like, oh, okay. He was like, yeah, like, how, like, are you feeling better? Like, are you okay after like the party on like Friday? And I was like, yeah, no, I am, but I do have like a bunch of bruises on my ass because I was biking and it was raining and I got like in a trail. So I'm telling him the story, and he's like laughing, but he's also like, he's a really sweet guy. So he's also like, oh, I feel so bad. Like, oh my god, I didn't know that you like weren't comfortable biking. I would have biked you home. And I'm like, no, like, you are the sweetest man alive. You've done enough. Like, you do not need to do any more for me. And so I think at like earlier, I think like 12 or 1, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go home, but like, you enjoy your night, like, you stay. And he's like, no, like, I need to make sure you get home safe. So again, I'm drunk at this point and I'm not realizing what is happening here. This is why I call it the drunk mistake, because I thought this guy was nice, we had kissed a bit, but obviously if I'm crying about the necklace of an ex-boyfriend, I'm not in the emotional state to be dating someone new at this point. So I didn't really see what was happening here, but I was like, oh, he's such a gentleman, he's older, he wants to bike me home. Again, I hadn't really had that much experience with guys except for like some high school stuff, so this was my like first college experience. So we're biking together, we're like having fun, laughing. At a certain point he's like, oh, let's stop at this like nighttime bodega, and I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, like, let's get, like, I need to get some cigarettes. So he gets cigarettes and he also gets beer, and I'm like, are you getting beer? I was like, oh, are you going to a party later? He's like, no, in case like I just need some for at home, or in case we like want to have another drink. And I was like, again, but I'm drunk. I'm just like, okay, sure. So we end up like pulling into my street on like bike, and I'm like, yeah, this is where I live. And he's like, oh, okay, so you're not even gonna invite me up to have a drink after I like biked you home? And I was like, Lois, in that moment I knew I fucked up. I was like, oh, so this is why he wanted to bike me home, not to be like a sweet guy. Well, I think he's like a sweet guy, but not to be just a gentleman, but because he's trying to go home with me. And like I said, like, I was new, I was a freshman in college, like I just didn't pick up on the signs, and I was drunk, a drunken mistake, but I also like felt bad. So I was like, yeah, okay, let's go upstairs and have a drink. We would never drink. I'm already like drunk at this point. I'm not even like tipsy, I'm drunk. And at a certain point we start kissing, and we like go over to my bed, and I literally, I swear to god, I'm so nauseous. I'm like trying to kiss this guy but also trying not to throw up. I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? And at a certain point I like roll over and I roll off the bed, which it was just like such a movie moment, and I just like smacked onto the floor. I already had all those bruises from that fucking like bike accident, and now I'm just like on the floor like, ow. And he's like, are you okay? And I like go up to kiss him, and I'm like so nauseous that I like you can just hear me kind of like ugh. And he literally is like, what the hell is happening here? This is not how like he expected the night to go. And I'm just like, look, I'm so sorry, I'm so drunk, I literally can't do anything, like, can you go? And he was like, I mean, he was super respectful. He was like, yeah, of course, like if you want me to go, I'll go. So he leaves. I got my necklace back. We did text a bit like after that, but obviously I don't think this was right from the start. And yeah, it was just really stupid mistake of mine that I didn't realize that a guy in college isn't just biking to like see me, but to help me, but because he wants to have sex with me. Also because he lived on literally the other side of the city, which took him like 40 minutes to bike there, so I felt quite bad at the end anyway, because he had to like bike the other way and then bike all the way back. But yeah, that was the story of like my first drunk mistake in college, and I'm super happy that he was really respectful and I didn't do anything that I wasn't comfortable with, but definitely should have been more alert that like this is what happens. And also just the drunk mistake of me losing my necklace, crying about an ex-boyfriend in front of a guy, probably not the best first move, so definitely something I've remembered from that night. And I've actually seen him a few times since then, because me and my friend Robin, like other friends, we used to party at that fraternity like quite a bit in like the first year of my med school and like the second year a little bit. So I've seen him around and he's a super nice guy, and like honestly I can laugh with him about it, but it definitely wasn't the best first impression. So yeah, so this is definitely nothing negative about the guy. Super nice guy, and he, you know, was just trying to, you know, get laid. And obviously if a girl's like, yeah, you can bike me home, he's gonna think that she's interested. So that was that story. I hope you guys enjoyed. You know, I feel like sometimes these stories, I'm not just here to like expose guys, like I also want to talk about like mistakes I've made, because I'm definitely not perfect. I've definitely done a lot of shit in relationships that maybe weren't the best. So yeah, let me know what you thought. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Let me know if you have any similar experiences, and let me know if you like the new setup, because I'm actually kind of digging it. It's like a cool nighttime vibe. And I'll be back again soon with a new video. Bye guys!